abusuafo ye mama kwa abasonko so eba eye BELLTV GH so ensem ekoso eye parliament abusuafo ko buru eye parliament a chese abadwafo akira ensem kese na ekoso chese mentem ho ase a ekoso ho no eso ankasa die ntia abusuafo mefasa akonya we so akwa abasonko so emra eye BELLTV GH so besre se enan dedika wani twa channel so ni dio kwanse no bu kwanse besa so besa subscribe like no abo ahima foforo a pensem ni bi atie no anya bi atie abusua ni na say Speaker Bagbin na abusua o kire say oyade as 3 MPs enyade obeswe omo inine no aso omo in ochina abusua sa asemu ya ma eye mentem ho ase kase pa na ekoso ho ni na say eyade a court edisa edi injunction edi ato sa 3 MP we no omo constituency no eyade a court edi injunction kase pa na odi ato so na o kire say ento say injunction no ebe free sa constituencies no so no enyade obe declare omo na no declare omo echina abusua mempese mekasa bewa mempese mekasa ebe ye tenten pese ye ko na ekotie ensem no mu enchire mu ade ntia Speaker Bagbin mpese obeswe ye 3 MPs we no obeswe omo in abusua na sibi na se wadwenche bia aba modern na ni de no bokwanso ya kire ya adwen ha ebe media GH so na subscribe edit amaye yedas
doing otherwise. So again, the point simply is that look, the Electoral Commission, the interested parties, you are parties to the case. You know that the decision is being challenged. You know that the stay is pending. You have to appear to argue out the stay. So don't show up in Parliament. Don't present yourself. Just maintain whatever situation you have at all. So that's one school of thought. The other school of thought also holds the view that look, there has to be a court order. A court order that is saying that look, Alfred, you can't do A or you can't do B. And that in the absence of such a court order, you cannot stop the person from doing what he's doing. And so those are the two schools of thought. And that is how come we come back. And from this update that we are getting from Communal Committee in Parliament, it comes back to what will happen
in the first instance.
Which is why I said that is where the problem is likely to emerge, because it depends on what the clerk himself, a legal practitioner, what position will be taken.
So that is a matter of discretion, because you have looked at two instances, and where the pendulum will swing depends on what the decision will be. But it must be stated on fact that there hasn't been any court order to the clerk of Parliament not to allow these 3 MPs who have been declared as MPs elect by the Electoral Commission for Okaikwe Central, Tema Central, and also Techiman South to be sworn in today as MPs elect. But so the consequential effect of what we are seeing with what the bailiff has done today in bringing the notice of Parliament to this particular development and the case that is actually pending in court will then eventually be a decision that will be left to the leadership of Parliament to take. Whether or not to admit that, you know what, there is a court case pending. So Tema Central MP elect, that's Charles Forson, Okaikwe Central MP elect, that is Patrick Yabuama, and also the Techiman South Member of Parliament, that's Martin Kosa, who is the outgoing Minister for Local Government Decentralization and Rural Development, stay out of Parliament. Or then the members of Parliament or the leadership of Parliament will say there's no court order, so these people are going to be sworn in, and then after the swearing in, whatever the court process that is pending will still continue, and whatever the consequential orders or the court order will be, eventually it would apply.
And just to make the point that the hearing that couldn't take place today has actually been adjourned to the 13th of January. And those who hold the view that you should hold on, they will tell you that if they participate in the swearing in, it will mean that the stay will be moot on the 13th, because the order they will be seeking to be stayed had been executed already, so it will be problematic. But we see the possibility of it playing out, not just at the first step, but at the step where the Speaker would also be swearing in the members of Parliament. That could also come in as well. And so that will be when they are done with the election of deputy speakers. And so first, let's run through this process. The clerk will conduct the roll call. When he's done with that, the members will elect, members elect make nominations for the speaker. And we are saying that voting will be by secret ballot if there's more than one nominee. We don't expect that to happen. The clerk will declare the results. The CJ comes in to administer the oath. Now when we go a step further,
But this is for the speaker.
This is for the speaker.
Let's get into the first and second deputy
speaker. It's the same process. Yes. The only difference is that the two deputies cannot come from the same political party. Then the second step will be that once that election is done, and we know that the NDC has indicated they are going with Ahiafo as first deputy speaker. We don't know who the second deputy speaker will be, whether they will yield that to the MPP or not. We
understand that there's going to be some compromise, and all things being equal, that's the former MP is still going to be maintained as a second deputy speaker. We'll see how that plays out. But for Bernard Ahiafo, there's something very interesting that we're learning right now. Because if you recall, prior to yesterday, when there was that expressed communication from the president-elect, John Dramani Mahama, rallying all the NDC MPs to back the nomination of the Speaker of Parliament, SÄCKs for Bagbin, to be retained as MP-elect, that's the Speaker of Parliament. There were other names that came up, the likes of Edward Doa-Jaho, who has been a Speaker of Parliament before, as one of the considered names as the Speaker of Parliament for this 9th Parliament. That speculation has been put to rest. But we're also learning that Bernard Ahiafo, who is a member of Parliament for the Akachi South constituency, actually, the Aveno Ave constituency that was for that Edward Doa-Jaho, who was MP for Aveno Ave in that particular 4th and 5th Parliament. Now, this Aveno Ave constituency is now Akachi South. In fact, Akachi South was carved out of Aveno Ave. So really nothing lost if you look at
so that's the constituency Doa-Jaho held on to that once he was elected.
There was
because he's a member of Parliament, there's a by-election.
And that brought in Bernard Ahiafo. He served 3 terms right now. So essentially what that effectively means is that they're still continuing in that stride and giving the voter region what they deserve in representation in the leadership of Parliament as the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament. So essentially, yes, Doa-Jaho is serving now as a member of the advisory council for the transition team for John Dramani Mahama, right? His name came up, yes, as possible Speaker of Parliament. That is not going to happen. But then again, we have somebody from his constituency in the voter region who's been penned down for first Deputy Speaker of Parliament. So
no controversy with first Deputy Speaker. Second Deputy, just not sure of identity, but likely Andre Siama to be the option. When they cross that hurdle, then this becomes a challenge. The Constitution, the provision and the order says that members-elect take oaths before Speaker of Parliament. Now, what has been happening, and I'm sure when you cross over to the desk eventually to us, the Speaker will administer the oath for the members of Parliament.
Yes.
So that is where another challenge could also come up. Will someone possibly raise the issue and draw the attention of the fact that, well, there are pending processes that have been served? What position will the Speaker take? So 2 steps now. The first step is the roll call, which you've complained about, which is within the control of the club, because at that point in time, there's no Speaker of Parliament. He's the one presiding over the proceedings. But as this second step, the Speaker is the one presiding over that particular election here. And so at this second step, when this is done, it comes to this level, in terms of the oath before the Speaker of Parliament, the question becomes, will someone raise the matter? And if it is raised, what position will the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Babin, take in respect of this? Will he take the view that let's put it on hold? Or we take the view that this proceed?
But it will be safe to say that we know the Speaker's publicly declared position, unless he changes it from what he said sometime last week, that he is not going to swear them in. And then there was that legal conversation as to whether he has the power to do so or not. But it's instructive that you make this point about what's going to be happening in this second step. But let's go back to Parliament right now, because that's where all the action is. And the third step that Joseph is going to talk about is very, very important, because there's going to be a point in time at the stroke of midnight, few minutes before the Speaker is eventually elected and sworn in. The Chief Justice is going to be the acting president, because in that few minutes there's going to be no president or vice president. And Eric Mayonegbeta right now connecting with us from Parliament with Kamala Kloche. Tell us what's happening where you are. Moana, if you can hear me, can you tell us exactly what's happening where you are? Have the MPs started trickling in as expected?
Right, and so, Alfred, exactly that. The MPs continue to trickle in at this particular point in time. But outside of that, we're picking word, in fact, firm confirmation on the ground that the Court of Appeals court processes, which were expected to have been served on Parliament a lot earlier, that has been done at about this time. My colleague Komla Kluche has just been getting the scoops with respect to that. He's joined me right now with full details and confirmation with respect to what these injunction applications are and which specific constituencies they will be affecting. Komla, you've got the details. Walk us through it right now as you've been getting it.
Okay, so what we know is that the bailiffs of the court have served the processes on Parliament. This was done just shortly after the dissolution of the 8th this afternoon, and the constituencies are the Tema Central, Techiman South, and Okaikwe Central. These are the ones the NDC has taken to the appeals court, and they have filed an appeal, and if they have equally filed a stay of execution. Parliament has been put on notice. My understanding is that the individual